Hot Apostle. Help us build the kingdom. Like, share, and subscribe. Good evening. The evening of the Holy Thursday, Mass of the Last Supper, institution of the priesthood, and this a series of things happening. Holy Thursday is not only the day of the institution of the Eucharist, it is also a day splendored with the bath of the graces of the Holy Eucharist, giving of the priesthood, and the priesthood is given for the Blessed Sacrament. And so, but there's another bath, not just the bath of the grace of the Blessed Sacrament, there's also the bath of the feet of the apostles and the washing of the feet, the gift of the priesthood. You know, in some respects, and again, I don't expect anybody here to be able to fact check me on this right now, but in the Old Testament, when an Old Testament priest was being ordained, they would be washed all over. They would they would bathe, and then they would be clothed. And so we can see the echoes of the Old Testament ordination present when Jesus is washing their feet, instituting the Last Supper, and saying, "Do this in remembrance of me," setting up these elements. So we have the ordination of the priests, the institution of the Last Supper together. Now, I want to ask you about the first reading. I know it was a long time ago, as I like to say, a long time ago. So the first reading, the main character of the first reading that we heard a few minutes ago, it was the lamb. And this is the way it went. You must procure, every family must procure for itself a lamb. If the family is too small for a whole lamb, he shall join the nearest household in procuring, and they shall share a lamb. The lamb must be a year-old male without blemish. You may take, I'm substituting some pronouns now, you may take the lamb from either the sheep or the goats. You shall keep the lamb, until the 14th day. The lamb shall be slaughtered. You shall take some of the blood of the lamb. You shall eat the lamb. Okay, we have a theme going there, right? And so this is the Passover lamb. Now I have to remind you of when Jesus arrives on the scene. When he arrives on the scene in public for his first kind of really, really public act, it's going to be John the Baptist standing in the Jordan River, and he says, "Behold the lamb." And we're all supposed to know. We're all supposed to know the significance of the lamb, the lamb, the lamb, the lamb at the institution of the Passover, which was in the Old Testament. And so we have the lamb, the victim, if you will. And then during the responsorial psalm, our blessing cup is a communion in the blood of Christ. So the responsorial psalm and the second reading, this is my body for you. Do this in remembrance of me. This is the cup of the new covenant in my blood. Our blessing cup is a communion with the blood of Christ. So we have the lamb, then we have this cup, and the bread and the wine become the body and blood of Christ, and the institution of this forgiveness. So on Holy Thursday, we celebrate the priesthood. And I like to say this, so if you remember me saying this, that's good. You should remember me saying this. There's only one priest, and that's Jesus. We participate in the priesthood of Christ, and I participate. It is my great privilege to participate in the priesthood in a very particular way. So we have the priesthood, we have the lamb, and then we have the dark night tonight. What is the dark night? After Jesus celebrates the washing of the feet, we're all aware of the betrayal of Judas. And Jesus leaves the Last Supper, and we're going to do this, most all of us. I hope we all at least go for a few minutes. We go from the celebration of the Last Supper and the institution of the priesthood and the washing of the feet, and then we go out into the dark night. the night of betrayal, the night in the Garden of Gethsemane, where Judas was at the Last Supper and now he will come into the garden. We also have the misunderstanding of Peter. Peter, who said at the Last Supper, "You will never wash my feet." He just doesn't get it. And he's never going to get it until the power of the Spirit comes to him. We have the indictment of the Sanhedrin. We have all the other things in this unfolding of this night. So we celebrate, and we should celebrate, and we should remember with great, great joy the gift of the priesthood and the gift of the Holy Eucharist, but we can't forget going out into the night, going out into the darkness of the Garden of Gethsemane. So Jesus, who is our priest, who is our lamb, who is the victim, who is the subject of betrayal, goes into the Garden of Gethsemane, and he asks for Peter, James, and John to come with him, and they fall asleep. And then we see Judas in the betrayal in the garden. And what is Jesus doing in the garden? He's interceding. He's praying. He's functioning as a priest. He's praying for you, and he's praying for me. You know that you and I were in the garden with Jesus. We were in his heart. As the blood is welling out of his pores, as he is taking on the sin of the world, I am there with him. I am in his heart. He's praying for me in the Garden of Gethsemane. He's praying for you in that dark night of the priesthood, that dark night of the Last Supper, the dark night of his betrayal. He's praying for all of us. And tonight, as we remember the priesthood, as we remember the Lamb, as we remember the betrayal, we remember his prayer. And you know what is our privilege on this Holy Thursday night to do? Is symbolically, but in reality too, is to join him in prayer. So tonight we will wash the feet of our apostles. We will celebrate the Last Supper, and we will walk together to the Garden of Gethsemane and join Jesus there, who prayed for us then and continues to intercede for us even today.